if you had only one client ever in your business and you had to make them be your entire marketing strategy, how would you treat that one client? And you could never market again. What would you do to get them to be floored so that they would go on social media, they would go everywhere, they'd be like, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. And then if you can nail a couple of those, like you're gonna have way more legs on, they're gonna spread the word as much as possible.
Okay, welcome to the Trust Business Podcast. I got a very special guest here, Jackson Hollingsworth. Hey, did I pronounce the last name right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, good to have you, Jackson. Thanks so much. Jackson, so you own two of your own businesses where you do basically e-commerce, right?
Yep.
And you also have a marketing consultant agency thing that you do.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we're going to talk about locally based marketing strategies and then also just hear about you and stuff. So let's just start. Tell us about you. Tell us how you get off on your own and
Sure.
do this entrepreneurial thing.
Sweet. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Let's see, 2 years ago, September of 2021, I decided to go out on my own. So I kind of just ripped the Band-Aid off and did that full boat. Hustled real quick with some cold
was that
calls.
scary for you when you did that?
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Getting completely, because I had a 1.5-year-old and a family and whatever, mortgage, etc. And that was intense.
Right. You did it kind of like in your late 20s. Like a lot of people, I feel like it's a little bit less scary if you do it like in your early 20s or like in your teens. But late 20s, like the risk factor is a little more.
So much more. Like just insane. I will say doing it later, I had more under my belt. So I had a lot of experience doing advertising and doing business growth for other people. So I was just like, put all that together, read a few extra books. I could probably just figure it out.
Yeah.
And then I did. Maybe 2 weeks I was doing close to 5 figures a month. Just cold calling, referrals, DMing friends on your close lead list. Everybody's got like their own kind of like, you've got your phone book, you've got your Instagram, you've got your Facebook,
5
whatever.
figures a month was like your take home.
Yeah.
By doing your own thing. Okay.
Just
good.
by doing ads for stuff for other people.
Yeah.
And I needed to get to that so that I could like at least sustain like eating.
Provide life for
just
the family.
Just like basics. My wife had a good paying job, so we were okay.
Yeah.
And then I dove super deep into building businesses, buying businesses, etc. And then a few months later, we realized I had enough skill to buy a business and grow it. So we went down that road and we found 2 businesses after looking at like 500. Checked their P&Ls, they looked good. Made them offers, they accepted, moved on. Took one of them from not doing great, doing okay, I'd say, to it's on track to do 7 or 8 figures this year.
Nice. And these are the e-commerce businesses?
Yeah, that was in 6 months or so.
Yeah. And with e-commerce, I feel like you were probably able to take your marketing background from doing that and just boom, because that's a lot of what that is.
Yeah. Very similar, just obviously scalable, and you don't have to hire as much.
Yeah.
You can put in 3PLs, you can put in a few shipping staff, and you're good to go. Like it's really easy.
What's a PL?
3PL, third party liaison. So it's a business that just ships on your behalf.
Right.
You pay them a fee per shipment, and that's it.
Got it.
Really lucrative business to get into as well. So we got those, turned on ads for one of them. It doubled in 30 days. And we were like, okay, that's cool.
And what are those e-commerce businesses?
One of them is a beauty brand that primarily sells like hair products and facial products, cleansers, things like that for, women mainly. But there are some men that buy our products.
Yeah.
The other one is like elderly mobility products for older people.
Got it.
Yeah.
And what's the advertising like though? On that Facebook?
The mobility one is Facebook, and primarily Google. We actually do some postcards. We do some Bing, all the different social digital. Yeah.
Okay, good. So awesome background. So that's your background in marketing, and then now you have 2 businesses that you're doing the marketing for, and then you're still doing consulting for businesses in marketing.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So what I'm super into the trades, and I have a lot of my audience is like trades business owners.
Sure.
What are for you some actionable things that you see people in the service industries not taking advantage of that you feel like you see a lot of value in?
Sure. The first one would be local service ads from Google. You pay per lead. You don't pay per click,
Yeah.
which is massive. It's a little bit more expensive. It ends up being like $50 to $100 a lead, depending. But the setup is relatively simple. You go on there, you find your niche, you fill out a couple things. You have at least 5 reviews.
Yep.
You fill out their background check so that they know you're legitimate and they can refer you. And then they track all the calls, and it's kind of guaranteed. If you get a robocall, you say that was a robocall. They decline it, and whatever. You set your budget and you forget it, and you'll just start getting calls. And if you give them a big enough budget, they'll just try and hit it if your industry is in demand.
Yeah, local service ads definitely work. They're good. When I set them up, they immediately started to help us, and I just have it. I have it like as much as they can give me, basically. Yeah, and they're sweet. So.
For sure. And then the other aspect is like normal Google ads, setting up a search campaign, setting up a YouTube campaign. A lot of people don't know, but you can set up a YouTube campaign where you target other people's videos and put your ads on their videos. So you can go find your best competitor and just launch an ad on their video.
You can launch it on their specific video.
Yeah, you can target a link. I want it to be on that video, and I want to show up before their video starts. So people don't think with that, but YouTube has like 2 billion views a month, which is better than any cable.
You could literally, like, let's say that I'm
exists.
trying to sell commercial roofing, or I'm trying to sell vitamins, or whatever I'm trying to sell. You could Google it organically. What is the #1 video that comes up? Okay, that one. And then, although
as long as you spend enough,
a big video, the budget's
going to be a little bit higher for sure. But you totally, you can put display ads on the right side or the bottom, and you can target it as like when you have to skip the video on YouTube, you can be that video too. So you can do all 3.
Yeah, that's cool though, because it's getting intentional about what audience you want to get to, what demographic. Okay, I want to get those people because they're looking at that commercial flat roofing video. I want to put mine before that.
Yep.
Something we did recently on that is we really decided we wanted to target the tile market down south. There's a lot of tile down there.
Yeah.
So we did a big postcard blast.
Yeah.
And we just specifically targeted tile roofs and homes that were built like 20 years plus.
Yeah.
And just boom, sent that blast and retargeted Facebook ads to those homes.
Yeah.
That way now they're getting 2 impressions. We did that, and we've already yielded some results in that area.
I'm sure that's been incredible.
And then once you get one, then you're in there with your truck, and then you kind of can knock the doors, and you start to gain some momentum.
Hand some door hangers out, etc. Yeah. I'm helping Bob with his roof. Bill over there wants one. Who's got another roof? Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, for sure. That's super standard with all service bases. It's like if you don't go knock on 5 doors, like what are you even doing? Like, yeah.
It's surprising though, because a lot of people don't do that. What I'm working on is getting it so that my project managers do it, because that way, if the sales rep who happened to sell it is off on a bunch of other appointments that day, the project manager always is there, and they can go ahead and do that, because it's just introducing your brand to the neighbors. And
100%.
then if they need help, they're going to reach out.
Yeah, I mean, there was this story I learned about a while ago. This guy, so marketing is who you see most, typically, like the name you recognize the most. Someone did this test to kind of verify this, but they put a realtor's postcard, stab in the ground thing, like, Joe Blow realtor, in 3 or 4 different neighborhoods. This person didn't exist at all. Like, this is a made up human. So they did Joe Blow, realtor extraordinaire, whatever. Yeah. They did that for about 3 weeks, and then they went and knocked on the doors. Who's the best realtor nearby? I'm looking to hire someone. They said, oh, it's Joe Blow, blah, blah, blah.
And a lot of
that guy doesn't exist.
That guy who doesn't even exist.
But they saw him enough to recognize him as the leader in the area. Not a real human.
Right.
They took a random picture off of Canva. They put Joe Blow here, and they were like, okay, so marketing really works. Like, you can literally make someone believe a human exists, and they don't. So as long as you get in front of enough eyes, enough times, people are just going to come to you first, because that's all they know.
Right. Interesting. Obviously, in that case, if they called up or tried to find Joe Blow,
they're screwed. They're super screwed. But this was a test to see like how powerful can just simple like a postcard in the ground be.
Which brings me to something I'll bring up, and it's important because your marketing is only as good as how you can convert it and take it on.
Of course.
So like if you're spending money on marketing, it's so important to make sure your phone is answered quick and well with a really good person on the other end who really knows how to take care of their stuff.
100%.
It's going to then go to a sales rep who really knows their stuff, is going to be hungry and want to take care of that person. All the way down to your service and delivery and everything. Because I see a lot of people spend like a lot of money on marketing.
Yeah.
But then just the answering of the phone is rough, and it's like, and I even know because I'll be looking for a service industry or something for myself, and I'll call the Google ad, and I don't know, I won't get through. I'll get a voicemail, which can happen sometimes. But like what I tried to do is I have a full-time reception who works in-house locally, and she's like awesome, right? She's local, and people can tell that. And then if she doesn't answer, now I have it set up to a call service. So then it goes to an answering service.
Right.
So no matter what time of day, no matter what
you're
happens,
going to answer their call.
It's going to get answered, right?
Smart.
I should have none go to voicemail at this point.
Sure.
So, and that's kind of my goal is I don't want to spend
No,
all
that's
that money
very.
on
I'm
marketing
glad you know
dollars.
that because.
And then what are they going to do? They're going to click the next 3, and then now all of a sudden, oh, you call them back, but now you're competing with 4 people.
That. I'm so no one knows that.
Yeah.
So if someone doesn't get a call, even a call back within the first 30 seconds of whenever they called or texted or messaged in or whatever it is, they typically will go on to the next person. And most of the time, if they answer, they're just going to go with them. Even if the price is like a little above, they answered. They're going to start servicing them. They're going to do whatever it is, and that's the end of where it is.
It's the first impression, yeah.
Yeah.
And people like Randy down there, because I see a lot of people like, oh, we have our call person overseas, stuff like this. And that's fine. It could work if it's a really good person. But like, I know like I invest a little bit more in having my local gal who lives in the area be right there with the team.
Yep.
And I get so much feedback. Like, I'll have a huge condo close and they'll like cite one of the reasons, like your girl on the front desk, when I did that intro call and I asked her a bunch of questions about your company and how good she was and all this. And like they cite that as a reason.
No,
so
it's true.
Sometimes, investing a little bit more in those little things, I feel like can make a big difference. It's not as tangible of a thing, but it's just that, good person,
100%.
Good customer service. Like
good customer service is super key.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to work at KnowBe4 for a while and I was handling their multi-million-dollar accounts and they like pioneered customer success. So like actively reaching out every week to make sure people are doing well and building trust and rapport and helping them with the small little issues that they didn't even think they had to begin with, like bringing it up. You have this issue. Do you want to fix it now or would you like to fix it next week? They're like, I didn't even know I had what. So, I mean, with the service-based, the basic thing you can do, like in customer success at least, is just set a bunch of goals and then tell them you're delivering on them before the weekend. Yeah. So like if you have to tell Friday to do it, tell them every day, I did this and this. Yeah. And then the next day I did this and this for you, or whatever. Things are getting booked, the permits are getting pulled, blah, 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 blah. That way you have
so key. And that's one of the things I guess we scaling up bigger than like some of that little stuff started to stop happening. I was like, whoa. Because my rule on it is literally like the customer should never be in the dark. If the 100%. Customer goes in the dark for any reason, or if the customer even has to ask like, hey, what's going on with this? Hey, what's going on with that? That means, like it or not, small or big, whatever it is, you failed in customer service in some degree. Because the client is there to just get led. It should be a concierge service, or at least what I'm trying to do. Yeah. And just every step of the way, they're informed, they know what's going on, and we're bringing up things that maybe they didn't even think about. Like, oh, hey, by the way, you could do a different color on this. Or, hey, by the way, on your gutters, you could do it like this, or you could do it like this. And like making sure that we're being the professionals and originating rather than just, whatever. It's the wrong flow to have the customer.
It is the wrong flow. Yeah. And honestly, when you provide a service like that, as well as you provide that service, typically that person automatically gets such a good, like warm feeling on the inside that they will end up marketing your service for you better than you could ever market it yourself. They will go, Trust came to my house. They did this. They told me about this problem that they didn't even need to tell me about. They even like recommended Bob down the road to fix that other problem that they don't fix, but he's really good and trustworthy. He did a great job. I couldn't believe it. And them telling their whole family, that family is going to tell everybody, and there's 30 new clients that are potentially going to come to you instead of someone else down the road because you just happened to tell them about some problem they had or whatever.
At the end of the day, that actually is the best marketing you can possibly
100%.
do. I mean, you have to get people in the door. You have to do all that. But doing such a great job for people, that's the hardest thing to do sometimes, but that is the most important thing.
Without a doubt. I mean, there's this, someone said somewhere that like, if you had only one client ever in your business and you had to make them be your entire marketing strategy, how would you treat that one client? And you could never market again. What would you do to get them to be floored so that they would go on social media, they would go everywhere, they'd be like, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. And then if you can nail a couple of those, like you're gonna have way more legs on, they're gonna spread the word as much as possible.
That's a great attitude. I'm gonna say that to my team. It's like every client we go to, that's the only client who people get to talk to about Trust Roofing. That's the only mouthpiece, right? Because we've been in business so long, right? We've serviced, or not so long. We've done a lot of clients. So we've serviced 1,000 clients in the last year. So I have a lot of clients who are out there advocating for me. Yeah. But I'd be lying to you if I said I think that every single one is out there really advocating. Like they got that blowaway experience. Because there's a difference between like what I call that lukewarm, like they were okay. There were some mistakes and they weren't that apologetic. Whatever. That's a lukewarm, right? What you want is that like
blown away.
Those
They're
guys
like,
were freaking the best.
Yep.
There were no issues. I mean,
Yep.
when something came up, they took care of it. Like, whoa. That's the guy you want. And just communicating to your team, hey, every client, think of them as the only word of mouth you're going to get. I think if every company operated that way, they'd be far more successful. But I really
100%.
like that mantra.
But honestly, that's kind of the bar is really low. Like the ones that do operate that way will be multi-million-dollar brands. And then and then eventually, I mean, Trust Roofing could go into, other avenues and take those kind of basics and open up different types of home service.
Right. Yeah.
Trust.
Very true.
Gutters, whatever. You never know.
I have a gutter company with my brother, Guttersmith. So
great. There you go.
Yeah.
That.
But gutters is interesting because we did that company, Guttersmith.
Sure.
And my brother mainly does that one. He puts all the fire and fuel to that thing. But quick, he became that company one of the biggest gutter providers in Pinellas County. Like fast. I think he's probably, I don't know, top 5 just gutter companies. He's got over 100 Google reviews, 5-star. And I mean, it's just that basic customer service that he just puts into it because he comes from marketing. Yeah. He came from the marketing industry. Marketing is so competitive in terms of like customer service and like staying on top of stuff.
Big time.
Because, I don't know. That's just that's what you should do. I feel like in home services, sometimes we're a little bit behind that trend just as an industry, but the guys who really catch up to it and lean into it hard, you can find success really quick. So.
100%.
One thing I like to talk about, and you were touching on this, it's just a multifaceted approach and not ever allowing any one piece of your marketing to live in a vacuum.
Yes.
So like with me, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to go, okay, all those trucks are wrapped.
Sure.
Every site has a yard sign.
Sure.
Every site we're doing the door-to-door, like we talked about. Then you got your Facebook ads. Then you got your Google ads. Then you got your social organic, right? So you're on your Instagram, your TikTok, your Twitter, you're on your Facebook, and you're posting daily reels, videos, photos. Your website is decent and clean. You add everything together, all of this. Now you have this dynamic marketing approach where, and then, we just put a billboard up now that a bunch of people can see in Pinellas County.
That's so cool.
So then now it's like you have to look at this thing as a funnel. They see the billboard. Oh, it's Trust Roofing. Wait. They see it again and again. Oh, actually, I need a quote on my commercial roof. Google you, click on your, Facebook. Oh, look, this post.
Reviews.
Yeah, you see a bunch of likes, 1,000 likes on Facebook. There was a reel today that lovely Alex posted. It was like, oh, the roof was this and that. And they're like, oh, these guys are active. Then they sit and call, right? It's that marketing funnel you have to think with. I feel like people who maybe don't succeed as much in marketing, they get too much in a vacuum. Like, oh, I'm going to do my Google ads, right? But then
that's it. I'm okay, I'm done. I did it.
Google ads could take you so far, but if you take that and then you add in, but then if the guy pulls up in a truck and it's not wrapped, well, that's fine. You can do that. But now you missed a thing.
You missed every eyeball in the area, or just having shirts.
I'm gonna say something about freaking shirts, man, because I'm a maniac about Trust Roofing, right? So literally, ask anyone who knows me. I don't wear anything else. Like Saturdays, I'm in my Trust Roofing shirt. Sundays, I'm in. I mean, it's a little bit crazy. I mean, every once in a while, I'll throw something else on.
Yeah.
But most of the time, I'm always in the shirt. And sometimes on a weekend, I'll be at the coffee shop. And I'm sitting there waiting, and like somebody taps my shirt. Hey, I saw the roofing on the back. I have a commercial property. I need help with it. I'm like, oh yeah, of course I'll help you with that.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
Sure.
Just from wearing that shirt. So like, it's these little things. That
I mean, it's what is the most people that will do business with you are the people that like you and know you, right?
Yeah.
So even if you're in a coffee shop, if you have a quick chat and the person gets a good feeling about you, they're going to hire you. Like, unless you fuck up the rest or mess up the rest of stuff.
It's okay. We're a roofing podcast.
Great. Yeah. Okay. Right. Unless you mess shit up, like, they're going to just go with you. Yeah. They might bid out just to get you to come down like a G on whatever, like say that they're bidding out, but they're the one you're going to remember shaking the hand of, et cetera. The other roofing companies that they may go like check quotes on. I mean, a lot of people have that like rule of 3. I got to go check 2 other quotes for whatever.
Yeah.
They still remember shaking your hand. Yeah. So even if their quotes are relatively similar, they talk to you in person. They liked you in person. Yeah. They got the feeling of trust. There's 500 reviews that back you, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, and that rule of 3 is interesting because a lot of people have that set, but there's some people who actually don't have that as set. And there are strategies on the incoming call line, I find, and how you have that all processed that can lessen that.
Okay.
So like what we're trying to do is when they first call in, my strategy is I want to be so on top of it with my intro script with the person.
Yep.
We actually educate them about Trust Roofing. We're a family-owned company.
Sure.
This is our satisfaction guarantee policy. And we ask them questions. What are you looking for in a roofer? When are you looking to get this done? Like we get questions from them. We kind of lead it all up. Then we talk to them about the rep that's going to come out. Like, okay, we're going to assign you to our rep. You know, Nick, and Nick's an awesome guy. He's worked for us for 1.5 years. And he does this, he does that. He's going to inspect your roof, get in the attic. He's going to do this, he's going to do that, and really give them this full approach. And they get an intro email. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to set it up ASAP, like same day or next day. And if you do that good enough, sometimes you're going to be like, wow, that intro call was just amazing. And they're coming tomorrow. And maybe I don't want to have 3 more people come.
No, it's true.
Sometimes they will, but if you do that approach good enough, I found
if you're competent enough,
we're going to see that first quote and just see how they come in at it. If they're fair, maybe we'll just go with them.
Right. They've got a number in their head that they're like okay with spending. If you come in anywhere near that and then they trust you already, they're going to say yes, like 99% of the time.
And I love that you just brought that up because in pricing and service industry, I'm going to bring this up because what we started doing recently is on our website, and a lot of companies are doing this, we have an instant quote button. You can click the instant quote button and then it's a satellite program, pulls the square footage of the home and then instantly populates the number for the client. And that transparency is just dope because a lot of companies are like, they want to like kill you an hour about their company and this and that, and then they tell you the price. I'm like, no, dude, the price is the first thing I'm going to tell you, and then I'm going to tell you, you know, how great we are and why that price makes sense and all the rest of it. But I want you to know that price up front. I'm not trying to like hide it. And there's a lot of companies I feel like who would be worried about putting their pricing out there, like, wait, 100%. I don't want the client to know. And what if they don't want me to come here? And I'm like, well, if they don't want you to come there, then they're probably not your client if they're not willing to invest that in you. So anyway, that was a big thing that I did recently, and I found a lot of success with it because then clients are like, yeah, come on out. Yeah, I got you the instant quote and everything. And then they already know where we're going to be at. And then now it's just promoting.
100%. Yeah, the line has been set already. So honestly, the agreement of, okay, we at least both know we're in this ballpark, right? Like right off the bat. So now all you have to do is just impress them with how trusting you are and how good you are at communicating and whatever, right? Yeah. But that I'm glad you actually like caught on to that because in the marketing world, 85% of like users, just general users, if they go to a website looking for a price and they don't get a price, they'll leave and they'll never come back. Yeah. Like statistically.
Wow.
In every industry in the world, if they're looking for a price and they don't get a price, they'll just leave and they won't come back. And that's it. Yeah. And so the fact that you like figured that out and have that.
And a lot of guys have done it, but not everyone has. And the thing is I look at the roofing industry, I look at it like any industry or any of the trades. Like look at the car industry, for example. Now, when people shop for a car, they do most of it online statistically. Now, once they've researched and they know what they want, now they might go into a dealer to actually purchase it. Or they'll order on Vroom, one of these online sites, and do a lot of that too. But they do all of the researching of the purchase online. I see that going with roofing. Like they do all the research on your company. All the research on your company. Okay, good. Really lock in. Okay, them. I got that rate. Boom, boom, boom. Then have you come. Because the problem is, for a homeowner to have to spend all that time getting 5 different quotes. I've had homeowners with an Excel sheet and they have 25 quotes. I swear, they're like a $10,000 project. There's 25 quotes. I'm like, I'm like, okay, damn, sister, right? But anyway, you know, it's like
you could have paid yourself a full-time like salary to go get quotes. Like that's just like, ridiculous.
Maybe there's some sort of a market out there for like, hey, I'm going to get your. I guess that's what a GC does anyway. But you know, to spend all that time though, having to 5 different people in hearing and blah. You know, it's a lot of time for these guys, 5-10 hours of your life. Whereas if you could just understand everything online, then actually feel confident enough in the company. Because that's where I feel like that comes from. It's just a lack of trust in the trades, right? They're like, well, what if this happens? They don't take care of it. Like, boss, and they feel like they really need to research you. They really need to check everything. They need to talk to you. They need to ask a lot of questions. And it's just kind of this on edgeness. And I understand why. There's good reason to, because there's a lot of different guys, a lot of different players out there. But that's what I'm trying to do is create a really like a brand where people can feel confident in it and where they feel like, okay, if I go with Trust Roofing, I'm going to be good. They might not be the cheapest, but you know, I know that they're going to get the job done.
Exactly. I mean, most people want that ultimately, right? Like if you hired a roofing company and say they came under, like I actually have no idea what roofing costs anymore, but it used to be like on a normal home, like between 10 and 30K, somewhere in that general range. Still in the ballpark, So like if Bob down the road with Bob's roofs came in $2,000 under Trust Roofing, but Bob's roof has a 4.2 stars and the most 3 recent ones were like, well, they stole my piano while they were at my house. That would be kind of odd, right? Is it worth? I don't know, but like, well, maybe, whatever, right? Or they stole my fridge, like, Or we have a leak immediately the day they left. There's a leak, and now my whole house, and I've got to get insurance or whatever, right? With Trust Roofing, if you come and you know there's 500 people that have all like said this has been the best experience ever, right, or more. 500 reviews usually means that there's like 5 to 10 times that in clients, right?
Right.
Typically. So if there's 500 5-star reviews all saying, I love you, then they know that extra 2K is just assurance. It's almost like you don't have to get insurance because you know that trust roofing is going to do a good enough job, not the blah, 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 whatever. And that's kind of what brand is about, is just designing the actual organic trust right off the bat.
Yeah.
And that's why the 1 out of 3, like, if you do good enough job in that first 24 to 48 hours, they're just going to go with you because that's the way it is.
And I like that you bring up brand, because when we talk about marketing and Google ads, Facebook ads, all these things, these are awesome, but they all cost a lot of money. But if you build a golden brand, like, that's worth, you just can't put a number on it. You can't put a number on a brand like Nike, like Coca-Cola, like those are some of the hugest examples. But even just some like big home services companies, like, I don't know, off the top of my head in this area, what's that garage door company, like Precision Garage Doors. Like, they have a really good brand. Like, I've never needed work on my garage door. But like, if I did, I might give them a call. I mean, I have some handyman guys who might be able to do it. If I was going to go pro, I'd probably go them. I see their billboards everywhere. They seem to have good ratings. Like, you're out there though. So the power of a really good brand,
100%.
You can't
a really good brand, but a really good brand that is then backed up by people that trust that brand. Like, that is like key, right? So if you have like Precision Garage or whatever, anything, and they're big, but they're not trustworthy, you're like, okay, well, I'm not. Like,
what I find is over time, if you're not actually delivering a good product, eventually it's going to catch up with your brand. You might be able to get away with it with a little bit with like PR or whatever, but eventually over the long haul, if you're consistently not delivering the product, then your brand is good. And that's what I do with my team. Like, whenever I feel like we don't deliver to someone as good as we should have or could have, I tell them, like, guys, that's a threat to the brand. We can't do that. Everyone has got to be this, and that has to be the attitude. Like you were saying, the one person. I really like that. I'm gonna steal that in my next sales meeting. But anyway, hey, well, thank you so much for being on, man. Indeed. This was awesome. I could talk about marketing probably for like 5 hours, but if anybody was interested in reaching out to you, because you do consulting with marketing and stuff. How should they contact you?
That's a great question. I think I still have my normal website up, which is known-local.com.
Known-local.com. Okay, we'll give it to Alice. She'll put it in the description.
Yeah, why not? I'm sure that'll go to one of my emails.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. And then we'll throw maybe your email down there or something too.
Sure.
Okay, perfect. Hey, well, thank you so much for being on, Jackson. I appreciate your time, man.
Yeah.
Thanks, brother.
See.
Okay.